Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to GlitchBreaks from Matheu. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Additionally, if you would like to participate to the giveaway and have an opportunity to own a copy of this app, please do follow the instruction in the video description. Thank you again. So GlitchBreaks is another classic app alongside apps like Sliver, which I already reviewed, and therefore it's not AUV-free compliant. But again, it's one of those of these apps that you can have a lot of fun with, and this one in particular follow through other apps in terms of manipulating your sound and of course recording it. So let's go through the interface and how it works in this video. So first of all, you have 4 quadrants here, or 4 channels, 1, 2, 3, 4, and each one can have a sample which can be loaded. You can see the play icon here, and you have a mixer here if you want to adjust the different levels and for all the different channels. Okay, so, and as I said, you can change it between different channels. Now, you can record what with this button here. And you can load samples here. You can go inside the screens where you can see what you previously recorded here, which of course you can play if you wish so. Or here, you can preview some of the sample, and the way to load them inside each of the quadrant or channels is select one here and then select the channel below. So this one, we load it up here. You see it has loaded there. You can import, export, rename. You can go to the store and background track. You can load presets, save them, and you can go back to the previous screen. And as you can see through the mixer, you can enable to play them all at the same time as well. Okay, so let's go through other things. So here you can manipulate the pitch. This icon here reset the pitch. Okay. The next icon here allows you to reset the tempo in case you're doing some glitches, cut or loop manipulation. So it will bring you back to a sync state. You can also quantize the beginning of glitch, for example, and you decide the measure here. You can change the bit per minute, which of course GlitchBreaks will identify from the audio sample itself. This icon here allows you to go to additional settings, and of course you click back here and to go back to the previous screen. Now here you see a loop manipulation, so you just click on it when it's playing. So you changed the rate of the looping, moving up and down in the position of the waveform horizontally. Okay. So, which is great. So increases the rate, of course, vertically, but also changes the duration of that loop that is playing. You can also enable these to be played without holding. Clicking in here. For which, of course, if you go into the setting, you can change the loop mode and to have latch mode. So in this case, it will always be latch, like so. It really depends on what you prefer. I prefer to have it off, like so. Okay, and as I said, you can record. So let's try a little bit. Record. stop recording. Now let's go to file management, and here we are. So we have okay, so we have the recorded loop. So fantastic. Now let's see other controls. So here you have the volume. Here you have tempo, normal, half, quarter. Interestingly, here on the option you have a scale time factor. So when that is on, of course, it will scale accordingly when so that the play ad is positioned correctly. Otherwise, it will start from the beginning. You can mute, you can reverse. Muted. And reverse, okay, which is great. Here you can see the waveform, the different position where you are at. Okay, so next you have glitch here. So you click and hold, and you move between 4 different type of glitches, which you can define here on the editor. If you go inside the editor, here it is. So you select the current glitch, 4 of them as per the XY pad here. And then for each one of those, you have a different repetition, which you can define. So now you can click on edit and remove which one you like. For example, let's say we remove them all like that. Okay. Now click save. Let's see what it sounds like. The reason it sounds like that is because it is 1512 repeated 4 times. So if I want to repeat these for, like, say, I don't know, 8 times, then I can click add, like so, and 128 perhaps, add, 164, add. I'm changing practically subdivision, and I keep the number of repeats here to 8, and I click add, and then I click save, go back, and then I can play. Of course, a different type of glitch. So you can create your own glitch, define the glitch length, the repetition, then assign it to which one of the 4 glitches you want to use, and then you can add the different, it's like patterns really, repetition. You can edit them, save, and then you can go back. Next, you have a cut XY pad, which allows you to cut different parts of the waveform, of course, and you can assign the number of that it will repeat each part for. You can click to activate and click again to deactivate. Now, if you want to define how the cuts work, you need to go inside the editor here on the settings, and here's your pattern. These are practically your step, and then you can, the first one is always active, and then you can decide which part of the waveform it will play, which you can click on here on the waveform to actually see it, and then you can activate different step and decide to play different part of the waveform itself, like so. And then you click, of course, save. It will say, I'm going to save on cut style number 2. I say yes, which will be this one. Okay. Of course, here you can define the save to cut number. You can decide to save to a different position if you prefer to do so. You can limit here the number of recording by bars. You can change the background track volume. Then you have a lot of different options here. You can, for example, keep track of in the index, so it knows when what is the position to go back to when you've done glitching and cutting. You can have dynamic glitchings on and off, so it records the position as you're doing glitchings on the XY pad. You can have it to perform only on one channel, so it saves you on CPU. You can detect and change the BPM, the scale time factor, we have already seen it. You can go into MIDI configuration, activate background audio, and activate able to link. Of course, here you have an about, which gives you a little bit more information. Then you have access to the menu. And as I said, you can change all your patterns as you prefer. And when you finish, of course, click save and give you a yes. And then, of course, play. Okay, so other things that you can do, you can go inside effects, and here you can activate distortion, delay, ring modulation. You have all different controls. I'm not going to go through all of them. You can activate low pass filter and a reverb as well. And then what you can do, you can also assign effect to the pad. So let me show you. If I go back here, and if I click effect here, it says not assigned, which I can click here as well. So if I go back to effect, I can say here assign, for example, the filter frequency, and here the filter resonance. Activate the filter and activate the reverb as well. Why not? Okay, so that's a nice way to actually have effects and also apply them. Now, you have other things here that you can do. You can go inside an automation editor, which shows you for each of the parameter what has been the automation which has been created, of course. So you can select one, you can see why it works. You can clear the automation or all the automation or the selected automation. You can go back to it. You have in automation mode, which is reading, but you can also enable write automation. You disable read automation here, double click here on a control, then move it something like that, and disable it, then have it to read on, so that, and you have to triple read here, of course, as I said here on the top left, to actually put it in read mode, which is this green color. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.